Hi, welcome back to the 3000 of Death long term. I'm actually going to go through and start deboogering this CPU socket. And I'm just wicking off, that's funny. And then I'll clean her up. It might look crappy, but it'll look nice when it's done. She may look ugly, but she's clean. Carefully, I'm not beating on this or scrubbing on it hard. Just pulling the flux off. Alright, let's check that out. Step 1. CPU pins deboogered, didn't lose any, didn't lift any. That's important. I'm going to clean up these 646s the same way. They look like utter dookie. And the resistor packs. There's a resistor pack of pins right next to this chip. And all I'm doing is heating up pads and grabbing the pin of what's left and pulling it out. These soldering tweezers are crap at best. They're too big. The flux makes them stick. But so you can see right here on this line, that's the resistor pack defunkified. Wick all this up. It's only 75 watt, so it tends to turn most of the flux into Black Death. Make sure you breathe a good hit of this. I only got to do that a bunch more times, because as you can see here I got a resistor pack, and then up here I got a resistor pack. So I got to pull all these legs out too. And in the meantime there's chips, so 1, 2, 3 more resistor pack rows. So I have some wetness in the area of the 646s down here. I'm going to zoom in here. We're going to take a peek at the desoldered holes and cleaned up holes. Now every chunk that you see that looks dark, well, it's a lot of pins missing. A lot of pins. It's a little wet, but it's hard to see. Basically everything in here is pretty much either broken or gone. Yep, gone. This looks okay. That's broken. Several of these are ripped out. That doesn't exist. Gone. You can see it's just darkness, gone, and yep, gone. There's a little bit of silver here and there. I'm trying to just get the goop out. Back of the board actually doesn't look too bad. I'm hoping that I can see where the top points go. And I'm going to beep all these before I do a single chip. And I'm going to socket every chip that I put in there. In case it ever needs to be changed, you're rocking. So with those 3 messed up clean, I'm going to continue around the board as much as I can possibly do, because it's already near 6 o'clock. I haven't ate dinner and I worked for 12 hours today. Okay, so it's been another hour. And I've gotten the majority of it. You ever look at one of those pictures and you're like, the more you look at it, the worse it gets? Well, it's like that. Amber scan doubler circuitry. It looks like somebody went in here with a chainsaw and just cut the chips just right out. This is just floating free. It's just there. There was another one up here. Where is it? Oh, right here. Yeah, we go. That's exposed. There's another one that's busted all the way across. That runs all the way up to the DMAC.
It's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
Luckily, a lot of these aren't used, like empty holes, but a lot of them are. And you'll see caps cut, missing, resistors missing. These were cut in half here, here, and there. I just bodged them back together and pushed them in solder, plugged them in. I gotta get some ceramics, resistors, a couple ferrite beads, FBs, another cap, a chip, another cap. Yeah. And then I cleaned up this whole area for the left and right audio, scrubbed all that, and that's looking okay. Not too bad. 4-bit field RAM from OK Data, the phase lock loop, and the hex inverter, I think it is, right here. Phase lock loop is up here, sorry. This one, I'm worried about this one's got exposed everything. It sucks. This one has been just literally just sawed on. That's just whoosh, one big cut. Yeah, I can't really show. Maybe I can see the slice. That they're gone. They're all wires. Vidiot cleaned up. The other Vidiot here cleaned up pretty nicely. These guys here I have not gotten to yet. You can see there's legs in some. I'm hoping they're not ripped to S. They look bad. There's some slices, and I probably got about 45 to 50 wires to do so far. And this, somebody just melted the living crap right out of the center joint there. So I try to work on these as I get parts. I got all the chips in now except for the Super DMAC. Don't need an 04, an 02 would be fine. It's got a Buster 07, Ramsey 04, and a Gary 02, of course. The Agnes ate my bottom for breakfast on the cost of that thing. So that leaves me where I'm at for now. Crusty, but getting better. Hello, and welcome to the future. This is an example of a customer repair tote. Inside I keep everything for a repair for said customer, and parts and things that I accumulate during the time this is in mothballs. And we left off with some parts missing and some bodges that were screwed up, and I had to acquire customs. Let's see. Today's interrupter is Mr. Keith D from Canada, talking about some new hardware. How are things? We haven't talked much lately. I've been busy. So last I left off on this, I have to do some wiring on this thing, and I was also able to, a while ago, procure the Super DMAC and the SCZI port from another 3000 when I did Mr. Simon's VR machine. So this needs to be a little bit cleaned up. We're going to mount that back here on the double posts, get that back in. I have a CPU here I have to put on, so we have the CPU. I got 90% of the parts, all the chips. We're going to socket these four, and then I have some amber mess work to do up here with its logic, phase locks, TTL, flip-flops, buffers, etc. I do need to procure one of the little silver cans, and for that I have an old 501 here that's been kind of but I need that little silver thing right there, the can crystal for the clock generation. Oh, it also needs two Vidiots, so we have Vidiot clone boards, two that were donated to me. You guys have really been coming in full steam on helping a brother out, and I greatly appreciate it because it makes my PayPal credit balance just a little bit easier to swallow each month. We have all of our customs, including Amber, the Super Denise, the Paula, the CIAs, which I have to test these in the BackBit again. All of these I know are good. My 3000 ROMs are good. We got zip RAM for it. I got 4 megs of zip RAM to test with. The owner can provide zip RAM because I only have 4 megs left in the 1MX4s. I do have the 44256Ks, but populating 16 chips for 2 megs of RAM is just crap these days. We need the other chip RAMs, 256K X4, to give us the 2 megabyte chip RAM. A while ago I hurt myself somehow, and I have not been able to use my arms in a great way in a long time. I don't know what happened. So I have some Siemens, 44256Ks that I bought a gross of on eBay. I previously tested these in the BackBit, and they're all good because they're all NOS brand new. And they just populate all of these guys, which will take me a few minutes. Now I also like to socket the lower first mega chip RAM when I can, because sometimes these they go bad too, and it's easier to swap chips out in sockets than it is to desolder test. Now, I've shown in the past on repairs, especially on 3000s and even the 500s, you can stack a chip, right? Line up its legs over top of the original and diagram it, and it'll get you past your initial mess, and it won't cause any issues too much. You will have some weirdness with your... I just borked that. You will have some weirdness when you do that. It's best to remove it. Boy, I'm a busy man today. Another interrupter for today is Mr. Jack from Texas. He was the winner of the WepTools desolder solar station, and I've just been reaching out to him to see if he's been got it yet or contacted by Wep. And nothing yet, but that's what's going on with that. It takes a long time for these things to come to fruition. So congratulations, Mr. Jack from Texas. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it gives you good results as I have had with it. But I stand by those guys. So if you're looking for a solder station, or desolder station, or a pump, or whatever, go check out my previous videos. I don't get anything. I'm not affiliated. It was just a review that I did when I got it, and I loved it, and I share what I use. So right here in the logic, you can see she is ripped to shreds. She was literally ripped out of her cocoon, and that's what I gotta fix. These are blank vignette boards. It's a resistor array, so you kind of gotta crack them off of the... Oh god, that's scary. I'm just gonna pre-crack that because that will scare the crap out of me. They will require a 90, which will look like this. And solder that down, and then they'll just plug into the board, and I'll solder them in. I have sockets for them too, but they don't usually blow up. I just got to make sure that I put it in the correct way. Sukkopera, GitHub, Sukkopera. Open Amiga Video Hybrid. How'd you injure yourself, Chris? What happened? Are you dying? Are you having a stroke? No, I took the kids to Hershey Park, which is an amusement park. And it just, I rode a ride, and it just didn't go well for me. Where's your fume extractor? It is right below me on the floor. I need to do something else with my desk. On the extra bits, and we'll just, we'll pick one, and we'll just give it a clip. Well, that's gone forever. There you go. One vignette. And I just have to repeat that process on the other side. Now these holes have not been evacuated. So, in order to get that in there, I have to clear the holes. But one video will be here, RGB, and one video will be here for Amber's 15 VGA 30 D sub 15. So 2 vignettes have been completed. I really need one of those massive silicone tabletop covers. Gosh, what is going on today, guys? That's Mr. Keith again in Canada, continuing our conversation. So, vignettes aside, the next big tackle here is CPU. So here are the CPUs. These are QFP 68030s at 25. They're all supposedly good pulls, but we won't find out about that until we turn it on. I'm going to look for the best peg-legged one and line her up. And there you go, all done. We're going to tape that down. We're not soldering, we're just going to tape it. Just kidding. It took me almost a year to source all of these. The 8372AB Agnes. I probably have about $600 or $700 in chips alone. I'll line this up the best I can with a poker and a prayer. There, look at that. That's a good alignment. Don't care if I bridge at this point. This is just for sticking them down. So I've bridged a couple balls on there. It's going to take a lot of flux and a lot of time. And I don't want to film it because, embarrassing accidents. But no. That way I can concentrate on doing the job, and I'll show you the completed when we're done. That's 2 sides. That was a little bit more problematic than the first one. Mainly because I had some contaminated solder, or one of the pads was still crusty, even though I cleaned it all off. It's a lot of flux, a lot of dragging. I was going to use Chip Quick, but it turns into bubblegum, and tester, even though it's a no clean, you still got to clean it because it gets into everything. So let that dissolve. Where did my trash can go? Way over there. I still have 2 sides to go. So my next step is vidiets. Well, one vidiet here and the vidiet in the back. I have to clean out their holes. Aven Desoldering Wick, if you are interested in that. I love this stuff because you don't have to hold it. It doesn't get hot. It has a little shield here. Links in all my videos for all the tools that I use. And I'm going to micro drill this hole out. Micro drills are your friend if you want them to be. Otherwise, they are finger impalers and you will stab yourself. You can get these on Amazon. They're listed as finger drills. I found that I can get them way cheaper at Harbor Freight Tools here in America, where Jesus lives. And pick your poison. And they're in the Dremel section. This is a hole to a ground plane. It has rotten solder in it. So I just put a finger drill in there and twist. And if you can see at the base of the tip, you'll see all the old lead solder coming on out. You don't want to exceed the size of the via. And when you're through, you can go all the way down. Hock Tua. And it's tapered head. Just keep going until it feels smooth, and then you can pull it out and your hole will be evacuated. If you go too much, you're going to exceed the size of the hole, and your via, whatever you're going to call it, is then useless. So keep that in mind if you're going to use the finger drills. Always go a couple sizes lower, just so you can make sure you don't exceed the ring size. Touch up anybody that looks like they need some more. Using some of the residual alcohol to clean up the previous removal flux. Now, the death part here is the SCZI tower of power here on the SCZI port. The grippy dudes click in, and you have your normal solder points. So we're going to have to go to the top temperature here because we're going to do the ground grips first with my 1968 Radio Shack 6040 lead tin. 60% lead, 40% tin. Make sure you take a deep breath before you do this. Now let's zap the ports in themselves. Really coming together now. Okay, so second vidiot is in. Our video system is almost complete. Now, I could fire it up. Couldn't use amber. Yeah, minus the chip RAM logic down here. Once I get this fixed, I don't have to worry about amber or the clock at this time. I could just ignore that. I do gotta get the PALs put back in. I have those. I'm gonna blow out the CPU on contact cleaner because it's getting on my nerves. I always call this hot tank in a can. It's WD-40 branded Specialist Contact Cleaner. Quick drying. Leaves no residue. Cleans sensitive electrical parts. Maybe I should turn my 900-degree soldering iron off. Extremely flammable. Great. Hello from a while later. So, we got the dudes in, vidiets, this thing, SCZI parallel. We got 3 of the PALs in, working on the delay line, got some busted lines. I drag solder fixed one, the other one needs to be drilled out, and there's a third line that runs over to the logic here somewhere, that's borked up. I also need a 74F03, I think it is, and some girls up here. I got another PAL somewhere, 2 more, somewhere, I forget. I'm going to do terminators on the board, and then start repairing the logic down here for the chip RAM glue logic. But I'm going to take a small breather for now, because my eyeballs hurt, my hands hurt, my body hurts, and it's been a while. So what looks for you for a couple minutes has actually been several hours for me. Still got a lot of work on project Amiga that was Amiga to Amiga 3000D. And it takes a while just to get all the parts and the money to pay for the parts, and I have about $60 more in Logic TTL stuff that I've had to order that I don't have. You know, like you get CPUs, and I gotta find RAM because I ordered the wrong RAM. I ordered 256K versus 1MX4s. That kind of stuff. It takes a while, and then I have a lot of wire work to do on the 646s down here and the Amber system up here. So we'll catch up with that and see how far I get in part 3. I apologize that it's split into so many videos. I try to usually wrap up a whole project in 1 or 2, but extreme projects take an extreme amount of time, and I just want to keep you posted with content and their story and how they're coming along. So stay tuned for the next one. Hopefully it's the last one, and we'll get this sucker at least powered up and we can take it from there. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something.
What do you know from funny, you bastard?